The Brock Lesnar situation is he's 6'3", 6'4", 265, 270, and he's got a date with this fist right here.
Firstly, how do you prepare for a match against one of the, legitimately the most toughest guy on the planet?
Well, I think I just have to stay within my regiment. I didn't just get here yesterday. It's been, years now of hard work and just sticking to the plan. And that's what a lot of people don't see is, some people just feel like, oh, well, we see him on Monday and then we see him on Thursdays or Fridays or whatever you would have it. But for me, there's a Monday, there's a Tuesday, a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, a whole week of preparation, a whole week of time management, staying focused, doing all the little things. I mean, from dieting to, sleeping, there's so many different things that you can do to help yourself. So for me, it's just stick to the process that I know. Don't try and change anything up. If it isn't broke, don't fix it, and I've come this far. There's no point to throw a wrench in the game plan and change things. I just need to stick to my guns and hit Brock Lesnar in the mouth more than he hits me.
I imagine there's going to be a lot of work with the likes of Paul Heyman in the ring. I imagine he's a great guy to learn from. Is he kind of giving you advice backstage?
Paul's a great source for any superstar. He's been all over the world. He's been in so many different promotions. He's seen so many different things. He's learned from the greatest ever to step foot in this industry. So anytime I get to interact with him, on camera or off, it's a great experience. He's a very personal guy, very personable. He's very easy to talk to, but sometimes you have to watch people like that. You just never know. He's a very smart man, and he knows everything that he's doing. So for me, I enjoy my interaction with him. He knows my family very well. He met me when I was just a little guy all the way to what I am now. So to have that type of history with someone, for him to know my family in a different light than I may, is very cool, very interesting for me, and I always like catching up with him.
That must be amazing for him to have seen you, from a young lad coming to where you are now. Must be pretty special for him to watch.
Yeah, I think so. And for me, on the other side of it, it's really cool, to be able to hear all the different stories from other people. Everybody has a story, it seems like, for my family. So, it's really neat to get all the different perspectives of everybody over the years. And for me to live this life that so many of my family members have already lived and experienced, it's a really neat process. Every town that I go to, I feel like I'm walking in their footsteps and kind of in their shoes. But the ironic thing is, this is my ship now. I'm the captain here. So for me, it's to be smart, to learn from those who are more experienced, and then to create my own path. My path don't like that light, so I shut that off with my mind.
That's some impressive skills. And so just, you commented there about, you're the captain of this ship now. Is that how you see yourself? Do you want to kind of surpass the likes of John Cena as the true face of the company?
It is my ship, and I am the captain of it. This is my brand, my product. I'm my own man. I don't like comparing myself. John Cena is John Cena. He's done a great job. He has his own legacy, his own story, and nobody can take anything away from that man. He's worked his butt off for everything he's done, everything he's accomplished. And where I'm at in my career, being so early, I'm starting to see the things it takes. It's a lot more than just being inside those ropes. There's a lot that goes into being a WWE superstar. You have to be a lot more than just a wrestler. And now that I'm experiencing that, now that I get a taste of it, I have a huge amount of respect for that guy. He's a workaholic, a machine. My only hope is that I do it my way. He did it his way. Taker did it his way. Rock did it his way. I hope when it's all said and done, people will be able to say Roman Reigns did it his way. It worked out. You can learn from that, but you can't do it his way. You have to find your own.
Yeah. And speaking of The Rock and your rich family history in the business, like what was your journey like to WWE? Because is it fair to say football was actually your first love?
Growing up, wrestling was. Up until the point of getting to high school, I always imagined myself being a wrestler. We would, me and my cousins, the Usos, we would dress up. We'd get old gear and put it on. Head shrinker gear, things like that. And just pretend. And we'd come up with ideas of what our names were going to be and things like that. So for me, wrestling has always been, it's just always been there. It's a weird, thing to describe. It's not like, of just being a fan or just being born into it. It's a combination of the both. Wrestling is sports entertainment has entertained me, but also fed me my whole life. Gave me shelter, gave me clothes to wear, put me in school. But once I got a little bit further in football, once I started to notice, oh man, I may be able to get a scholarship. I may be able to pay for my school. Take a load off of my mom to where she doesn't have to worry about paying for it. It became a lot more serious, and I think my passion for it grew there a bit more. Just the situation that I was in, and then things happened the way they did. But even when I was super serious about football and I thought I was going to be able to make it in the NFL, I always knew if don't forget about your first love. Don't forget of what you thought, your dream was to be. This is a great situation, and God willing, it works out. And it really almost did. I was that close, and I know a lot of guys that come from a football background. They've experienced some of the same things as I have. But for me, it wasn't a rough transition, dropping the cleats and putting on the boots, and it wasn't. I don't have that indie background. I didn't live in the back of my car or break a collarbone and not be able to pay. I didn't have those type of situations, but I've had plenty of adversity. I've had to climb plenty of obstacles, and when it came down to it, when you sign with WWE, you're in the deep end. It doesn't matter if you're a 10-year vet or day one. You're in there with sharks. You're going up against guys who want to be the guy, and when you're dealing with that type of competition, it's either sink or swim. And luckily for me, I was able to find my way.
So when you arrived in WWE, did your sort of family history, was that a help, or was it actually a hindrance?
No, when I first arrived, it was a huge advantage. I lived literally in an apartment complex across the wall from my cousin Jey Uso, and they had already debuted at that time. And he was on the road a good bit, but every single day he would come back. He'd always come back Wednesday. We usually get back Wednesdays of the week, and we would spend usually all night Wednesday night out on the front porch just talking wrestling, just discussing different things, different ideas, different little things that I need to know, just helping me out. Just kind of boosting the whole process, speeding it up for me. And luckily for me, I'm a pretty good listener, so I was able to just take in everything, learn all the basics, all the the smaller things that the step one, and then we were able to move to step two. So for me, he really helped me go from a situation of crawling to walking to running, and as I progressed, as I got a little bit higher up the ladder, and I'm still doing that, the pressure is a little more. There's a lot more on the line nowadays. I'm not in a warehouse anymore. I'm not just wrestling in front of Tampa, Florida. I'm in front of the whole world. So for me, it's not so much about pressure. It's a responsibility, and I think we all have that as WWE superstars. Is not only to lift the product, but to raise the standard of what happened before us and then what's going to happen after us. I just want to leave this place better than I found it.
I'd love to have been a fly on the wall with hearing those conversations between you and Jey.
Yeah, a lot of times it wasn't all about wrestling, but a lot of times we'd just have a couple cold beers and we'd talk. We just talk about life, what it's gonna take to get to that to that point where he was, and then what's it gonna take to get beyond that. And it's a everyday process. You never know what's gonna happen the next day, and it's kind of a thing you have to stay on your toes. So.
Yeah.